Yo, what it do, YouTube? It's your boy Tkgoated here, and welcome back to another video. Today, we about to react to the Charlotte Hornets are becoming a real problem. See, the Charlotte Hornets have been winning a lot of games recently. I think they're on like a 5 or 6 game winning streak right now, and they look like a really good offensive team, man. Like a really good. I'm not even gonna say a lot, bro. But I ain't trying to waste so much of your time. Let's go ahead and go straight into this video, man.
The Hornets have now won a league-high 6 straight games, driven
Oh yeah,
by
I
the
was right.
best
Six, six,
offense
six,
in the
six.
NBA over the last 15 games. And this version of their young core is starting to look real. But before we talk about any individual breakout, you have to understand why this version of the Hornets is working in the first
No,
place.
they've been getting some
Most of
good draft picks, low key, bro. They got Knipple, LaMelo. What else they got? They got Brandon Miller, and then they got like a lot of other people on the team,
when
bro.
teams like this go on a run, it's mainly because shots start falling at a crazy rate. A hot shooting stretch that everyone knows won't last forever. But with the Hornets, I don't think their explanation
I don't know how he
last
hit the shot. I don't know how he hit the shot. Just look at the way he's shooting his shot. He caught the ball all the way over here. Like he caught the ball all the way over here. All the way over here. And then he wants to pull it. He didn't even let his other leg down, bro. He just shot it
with the
while
Hornets,
going out of bounds and made that, bro. Come on, bro. Let's stop playing, bro.
I don't think their explanation fits inside the same box. Because over the last 15 games, they're #1 in offensive rating, #1 in net rating, #1 in plus
I didn't even know this.
#1 in rebounding percentage, and #1 in second chance points. They're also #2 in opponent field goal percentage and opponent free throw attempts. When you're leading the league in so many areas all at the same time, it's really hard to say that it's just a fluke or some lucky stretch.
Yeah.
To me, all of those numbers point to one thing. This team is
the Hornets have Miles Bridges, right? Yeah, they got Miles Bridges. Yeah, this is a complete team right here. I'm not even gonna lie.
the possession battle.
If they could find a way to get Giannis before the trade deadline, I don't know if this video is coming up before the trade deadline or not, but if they find a way to get one more core piece to this roster, these team might be able to win a ring. They could probably still win a ring even right now as they are right now, but I feel like they're still missing a more veteran player who's played in the playoffs a little bit more. I feel like as long as they can pick up like a better all around, like just like an older player, I feel like they can make. But if they can get Giannis, I would definitely like try to encourage him to get Giannis. But I don't know if they have anybody they can really trade besides Knipple or Brandon Miller, because I don't think they're gonna trade LaMelo Ball. But he could still be on the trading block though. But I'm just saying, I don't think they're trading.
Rebounding number especially might be the most important part of all of this. Against San Antonio, a team with a 7-foot
San Antonio.
the Hornets did not
different.
just survive on the glass. They dominated it. Charlotte out-rebounded the Spurs 51-36.
You have to also give them credit because the Hornets don't have that many 7-footers. San Antonio has 2 of the tallest players in the league. They have this dude right here and Victor Wembanyama, and they're getting blown out in rebounds like this. Bro, that's crazy.
Musa Diabate had 10 rebounds. Brandon Miller had 8, and LaMelo Ball had 8. That's what stands out here, because it isn't one big man carrying
they got Colin Sexton too.
Coming from multiple positions.
Yeah, this is an elite team. I forgot they even had all these people on their team.
You're basically deciding how the game is played. That's been the real story of this stretch for Charlotte, giving themselves more chances to score than their opponents. For me, that's why I don't believe this is just some crazy hot streak, because the rebounding.
Bro, I swear to God, anybody can drive on Luka Doncic, bro. Like, anybody can drive on Luka Doncic and get past him every time. Look at this, bro.
That's why I
just
don't
look at this right here, bro. Look, a
crazy
simple crossover. Let him go right past him. You have to help him every time.
Because the rebounding is something you can control with effort, energy, and focus. And when a young team begins to do this, especially to the point where they've now won 6 straight games for the first time since 2016,
that's
things begin
crazy.
to change
2016.
really quickly. The scary part is that all of this is happening.
Imagine being able to build an app with your name on it. Just by thinking
these
about
ads, I'm not even gonna lie.
base 40
crazy.
while this core is still figuring itself out. They're far from a finished product yet.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying, bro. That's what I'm saying, bro. They still haven't they haven't played with each other for long at all. But this team right here, bro, we are looking at this team to pull it off right. We are looking at the creation of a dynasty, bro. We're looking at the creation of the dynasty, bro. Because this team is OP, bro. This team is they need at least 1 or 2 more years with each other. And I can guarantee it, bro. If they don't fuck up or nobody gets injured or whatnot, they could definitely make it, bro. Because you got LaMelo Ball, Nipple, who might win Rookie of the Year. He might. I'm not going to say because we still have Cooper Flag who's out here hooping. VJ Ekholm who's hooping. So I don't know. But Nipple is hooping recently. Then you have Brandon Miller who's been hooping. Yeah, bro. You got Colin Sexton, a pretty good defender. Then you got Miles Bridges, pretty good shooter. Can defend pretty well. It's
when a team begins to play this way, individual growth instantly
I forgot who their center was.
And that is where Brandon Miller comes into the equation. Because over the last...
You know what's crazy? People was hating on Brandon Miller. Now he's a core piece to the Hornets right now,
10
bro.
games, Brandon Miller has been on an absolute tear. He's averaging 24.7 points per game,
Bro,
along with 5.2 rebounds and 3.3 assists, while shooting 44% from 3, an incredible 98% from the free throw line, and 51% from the floor overall. And to put that into real context, over that same stretch, he's one of only 3 players in the entire league averaging at least 24 points on 50% shooting, 40% from 3, and 90% from the line. The only other 2 guys in that group is Anthony Edwards and Steph Curry, which clearly shows you the level he's playing at right now and how
Brandon Miller, if Brandon Miller doesn't get no serious injury or not, bro, he's about to be something, bro. I'm telling you.
Actually is. What's made this
with
run
these type of
stand
stats
out even more
and what his third year,
how he's responding
third,
when
fourth
things
year
don't begin smoothly. Against San Antonio, he opened the game just 1 of 8 from the floor, and usually that's where you see a young player lose focus and really fade into the background. Instead, Brandon stayed aggressive, he stayed patient, and finished with 26 points, 8 rebounds, and 2 stocks on 7 of 21 shooting. And he had some monstrous plays in this game, none bigger than his N1 3-pointer over the top of Victor Wembanyama. So in a game where he began really slowly, Brandon Miller ended up being the difference. And it's moments like these that show you the confidence
over Webby
twice that this team is playing with as a collective. And for Brandon Miller, this hasn't been empty scoring either. When Miller is on the floor during this stretch, Charlotte is winning minutes, which matters just as much as the raw production. His scoring fits into how this team wants to play, and it's helping them control games instead of just surviving them. And the Philadelphia game is a prime example of how the Hornets have been controlling games. In a massive 130-93.
Dang! I didn't even know the Hornets was destroying this team. Hold on, bro. Dang, bro. I don't know what these guys have to say about that. They almost lost by 40 points.
Win over an Eastern Conference competitor, Brandon Miller finishes with 30 points, 8 rebounds and 2 steals, while shooting 9 of 11 from the floor, which equated to a 100% true shooting percentage.
I ain't gonna lie, Brandon Miller's
performance made him 5th all-time in NBA history for games with at least 30 points on 100% true shooting. And guys, he's only 23. He's years before his
I was gonna say, he's not even in his prime.
When you watch him play right now, it's so easy to see why this does actually feel sustainable. His jump shot is silky smooth, but it's the way he shoots on the move that really separates him from other young scorers. Charlotte runs a ton of dribble handoffs at the top of the key, and Brandon Miller is one of the main guys who comes off those actions, and the second the ball hits his hands, he's ready to shoot. If you're not right there, ready to contest, you're probably getting burned, because some of these looks are just blink and you miss it type shots. And when you mix that with his size, his frame, and his ability to get downhill, this is where Brandon Miller becomes really difficult to defend. He's already shown flashes.
I might get canceled for saying
bro, these
this, but
ads,
most of the
bro, I'm
emotional
telling you,
weight that
bro.
you carry every single day is
These
stuff
ads
you were
crazy.
never
of finishing through contact and really putting defenders on posters.
Dang.
And once this guy gets
Kyle
stronger
Kuzma?
and more experienced, I think that
On
part
Kyle
of his
Kuzma?
game is only going to grow. That's where all of this starts to feel so much more than just a hot stretch. It starts to feel more like the beginning of a real offensive star taking shape. And what makes all of this feel so real to me is that it's not just one guy having a hot month. When a team
Yeah, I was just about to say, like, we're talking all of this about, like, Brandon Miller, but let's not just, like, say that it was Brandon Miller who was hooping, bro. Recently, we seen Con Knipple go head-to-head against Cooper Flag. We seen LaMelo Ball come out and get assist after assist, bro. Like, we seen these type of games. He's not the only one that's good.
And rise to the big occasions. And that game against the Dallas Mavericks wasn't just another regular season win.
Yeah, bro.
That's the kind of a hardwood classic that we're going to look back on in 10 to 15 years time and say,
Still can't believe the
this
Mavs
is right
traded
at the beginning.
Luka
Those
Doncic, though.
games
It's
don't
pretty
come
crazy.
around often. And Charlotte hasn't
It's
had
crazy
many
that's
of them,
almost
which
been a
is
year
why
since that
it
happened.
mattered so much. Because the Dallas Mavericks come in and Cooper Flag went crazy. He finished with 49
Yeah, Cooper Flag,
points,
34.
and
Yeah,
it felt like
yeah,
he was
34.
just living in
Bro.
the paint, getting touch after touch and forcing contact no matter what the
Bro,
Hornets
he was
were
scoring
trying.
it.
But what really
He
stood
was
out
scoring
to
at
me
all three
was how
levels,
the
bro.
Hornets did not fold when one guy was that dominant. The team stayed calm. They kept firing back with answers of their own, and this game developed into a real duel instead of a blowout. And on the other side of that duel was Con Knipple, who met the
Yeah,
moment
exactly.
with
That's what I'm saying. Con
34
Knipple was
points, and
scoring.
then stepped in to
Con
hit the
Knipple was doing
game-winning
his
free
thing.
throws to seal a 123-121
8 threes,
win.
bro.
What I loved about this matchup was how Con
As a
wasn't
rookie,
hiding
too,
from
as a
anything.
rookie.
He genuinely wanted to guard Cooper. He wanted that responsibility, and you could feel that extra edge because they know each other. Con and Cooper
Oh, yeah,
were
because didn't they
Duke
play with each other?
teammates and actually roommates. And even when you're friends, there's always going to be that rivalry, especially when you get to meet in an NBA game. Con even kept Cooper quiet early in the game, holding him to just 2 points after the first quarter, and then Cooper, of course, flipped the switch and had 49 anyway, just because he's that good of a talent. But Con's night was special as well, because he hit 8 3-pointers, setting the rookie single-game
8 threes is
franchise
crazy.
record, breaking PJ Washington's old mark. And that's one of those moments where you stop and go, yeah, this isn't normal. Once
This is a
Con
good
saw
pickup
one
by
to
the
drop,
Hornets,
he
man.
just
I'm not even
caught
gonna lie.
fire. That pull-up three off the screen he hit in that third quarter.
I know the people in the GM were just like, I know they were just happy, bro. It's like, man, we picked up a good pick right here, man.
Is a
After
perfect
he's seen
play
this
to
game, it's
show
like, oh,
you
yeah.
just how good of a shooter he actually is. He doesn't really need to set his
This
feet.
dude, Con
He doesn't
Knipple look like
need
Klay
extra
Thompson for a little
time,
bit, though. I'm not
because
even
the
gonna lie.
second the ball hits his hands, he's ready to let it fly.
That look like-
kind of
you look like Klay
confidence and
Thompson.
readiness doesn't usually
Wrong,
show
Klay.
up this early, especially not in these massive contests. And that's why defenses can't relax around him, even for a second. This is where I think the numbers really start to ram it home. The only players in the entire NBA this season averaging at least 18 points per game, making 3 threes a game, and doing it on 62% true shooting are Con Knipple, Steph Curry, and Anthony Edwards.
Dang, I'm not gonna lie. Edwards and Curry got a lot of these. Hold on, but yeah, that just shows that, like, even though he's a rookie, he's still, like, out here hooping, bro. He's better than most of the guys in the league right now.
Some list, and a rookie absolutely should not be a part of it.
Yeah,
And yet,
exactly. That's
here
what I'm
he
saying.
is.
A rookie
Con
should never be a
Knipple
part
is
of anything like
already
this,
one
but he's
of
just
the very
proving
best
that, like,
shooters
he's
in
gonna
the
be something,
sport,
bro.
And this is only year one. This is probably going to be the worst version of Con we're going to see. Coming out of college, he
Probably.
was mostly viewed as a really good supporting piece to Cooper Flag at Duke, not someone people were circling as a future focal point. But now, here he is, producing like one already in year one, in real games against real competition. If that's where the baseline is for this guy, then there's a very real chance that he grows into a legitimate star in this
like
league.
water,
With
boy.
that recent 101-106 win over the Spurs, the Hornets
Bro, them
not only
dimes by
passed
LaMelo
a
Ball is kinda
legitimate
crazy,
test,
though.
but they now
LaMelo
move
be
to
throwing them
22
dimes.
and 28 on the season. And honestly, when you look at where things are heading over the next week or so, it certainly wouldn't surprise me at all if they edge past the Bulls and the Hawks.
Yeah, I was just about to say, like, there is no guarantee they're making the playoffs this season, but if they keep the same like core offense for next season, they probably might make a couple trades and stuff, try to get a little bit more draft capital, like draft picks and stuff. But if they keep the same core offense and try to build around that, I feel like they are making the playoffs next year. They might make the play-ins this year. I can't be guaranteed. I can't guarantee they're even going to make the playoffs, but they might low key. They might. But we've seen what happened with Jimmy Butler in the Heat. They went from the play-ins all the way to the finals. So anything can happen. It honestly depends on how the rest of the season goes.
Cementing themselves in the top 10. If that happens, Charlotte is putting themselves in a position to play postseason basketball for the first time since 2022. Just getting back to that stage would already be a big step forward for the group, especially considering where they've been in the season since. But the part that really blows my mind is how they should be even higher than that right now. When you look at their win differential on the season, they're sitting at a minus 5.6, which is the worst mark in the NBA. What that's telling us is pretty simple. The Hornets should have won about 5.5 more games this season than they actually have. So if you were to take their 22 and 28 record and add all of that back in, then all of a sudden we're looking at a team that's basically 27 and 23. And if that was their actual record, they'd be sitting as the 6th seed in the East right now, above the Philadelphia 76ers, and only 2 games back of the Raptors and Cavaliers. That isn't hypothetical optimism. That's how good the Hornets are. So even though the standings still have them behind teams like Atlanta and Chicago, I don't think they're even close to being on the same level as those teams. And I mean that in a good way. Charlotte's offense has legitimately become difficult to guard. They just have too many guys who can beat you in too many different ways.
Yeah, because their core is full of offensive players, bro. Melo, who could throw dimes in any sort of situation. Then you have Nipple, who's a catch and shooter, bro. He's literally like a Klay Thompson. And then you got Brandon Miller, who can create his own offense as well, not just Melo. They could play between any 3 of those guys at any time. At any time they could play between those guys. So it's really just like, dang, bro. They could beat you. If they have all 3 of those guys on the court, any one of those could create offense.
And you can't load up on just one guy anymore. As a team, they're 5th in the NBA when it comes to 3-point shooting percentage, knocking down 37.3% of their shots from 3. And that spacing has completely changed how teams now have to defend them. But the next area for growth is pretty clear. It's the turnovers. They're averaging 14.8 giveaways a game, and if they could just clean that up a little bit, the margins would be even smaller, making winning even more accessible. That's the difference between close wins and comfortable wins. And it's probably the biggest thing that's holding them back right now. But at the same time, this is still a really young team. So I don't expect to see them make massive improvements overnight there. But I also didn't expect them to make the leap they did in January either. So at this point, I'm done putting ceilings on what this group can do, because who knows? Maybe they do cut down the turnovers. The reason their offense has been working so well is because of how balanced they have become. Charlotte have 4 guys averaging more than 18 points a game this season, and those guys are Brandon Miller, LaMelo Ball, Nipple, and Miles Bridges. That's a nightmare to scheme against, because it feels like a different guy can step up every single night. You can't.
Because even if 1 or 2 of the best players on the team are doing bad, you still have 2 other players who could come out and still score 20 plus on your head. So them 2 could be like sorry for that game. And then there's still 2 other ones you still have to worry about. bro,
Just
it's
take
like,
away one thing and
bro,
expect it to work. There's too much
that's
variety, and that's
crazy.
before you even get into how much better the ball movement has become. Charlotte have been running clear offensive actions and sets with lots of handoffs up the top, which bleeds into beautiful ball movement and great looks for everybody. And when you zoom out now, this team has a legit vision. You've got a system that feels like it's heavily inspired on what we saw from the Boston Celtics in 2024, shooting a high volume of three-pointers and thriving off great ball movement sequences. But most importantly, you've got a young duo of Con Knipple and Brandon Miller paired with a version of LaMelo Ball who's continuing to turn his season around. There is a very clear pathway for this group to continue to win at a high level together. And another team that's been rolling recently in the Eastern Conference
Oh
is
yeah, the 76ers been good, bro. And they got Joel Embiid back, bro. I don't know how good Joel Embiid has been recently. I haven't been able to see his highlights or not. But Tyrese Maxey, he been carrying his team. I ain't even gonna lie. They are definitely a lot better than they were last year. It's just I still feel like Tyrese is still kind of carrying the load. Even with VJ Ekholm, he's carrying the load stuff too. But I still feel like Tyrese Maxey's doing most of the load right now. At least that's what I feel. I haven't seen any 76ers games or any highlights really. I've always just seen like a Tyrese Maxey highlight. I haven't seen anybody. And VJ Ekholm, but that's really all I've been seeing, man. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Go ahead, hit the like button, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.